Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Pat Trading Partners along with Bob Iacchino. Checking in on NEO. NEO, last time we left off, we had a projection down to 67, which you see we hit the 69.77, pretty much plummeting through to 67. So how do we come up with the next levels down? This is where you can, again, drop to the 1 hour and watch for a pause there. So if you come to this pause on the 1 hour, that gave us down to 61.30, which was dipped below. I mean, then you could have also come down here if you wanted to keep going, and it didn't get to that next level down, but it rallied back, and now we're moved sideways and finally turning back up. Let me remove these levels and go back to the 4 hour. Now we're just going to use these levels off the 4 hour in case this doesn't hold, but this is looking pretty much like a decent bottom coming in. So you see really strong divergence here. Much lower low in price, higher low in the RSI, moving sideways, getting up to rotation zone top, pulling back. Now we're getting the first cross. So I'm going to be watching now for a return to about the 70.15 to 70.81 key levels as the first area to watch for. Then we can do our nice little projection box up here, which we have to go for the 12 and the 25%. So that's really nice. Look at that. 70, 77 coming in right with the declining 50 period exponential on the 4 hour chart. So we'll be watching for either reaction there or the 22 level, then a pullback and the catch on the rotation zone, and see if we can get a nice strong rotation back up. Keep in mind, switching over to the daily, let me zoom in here. We still have the rotation zone against us on the daily, and look at this, it's 70.77 area. The 8 on the daily is right there, so that's an area you don't want to ignore. So if you've done any bottom picking or bought anything down here, be very careful at that 70.77 level, and then again at the 72, because that's in the rotation zone, because we don't have everything in our favor yet. So now this is, once we get that first cross in the 4 hour, it's getting to, instead of bearish mode, it's getting to more slightly bearish to neutral. And then if we can catch on it, it'll be neutral to slightly bullish, but it won't be really bullish until we can get above the rotation zone on the daily and then get the cross of the rotation zone on the daily. Again, if these lows do not hold, here's your next levels down, 54.79, and then 50.36 are the next key levels, but we'll fine tune those if we start pulling down, because we have a couple other GAN levels in the mix also. But that's the way it's looking. So we're not in bearish mode, we're in slightly bearish, heading to neutral mode. We're not being aggressive though from the bull side, but if you have a high probability pattern other than the ones we teach that you can rely on, you might want to dip your toe in the water. Just mind your stops, and as long as the rotation zone's against us on the 4 hour, make sure you move up your stops or take some partial profits. So NEM, last time we left it, we were looking at 36.11, which we came down, closed, and bounced back up to the rotation zone. Then 0.3522, which we closed on. Those levels finished off. I'm going to move these out of the way. Then we had to go down to the 1 hour. What I have on here is the most recent swing from the 1 hour that we used. You could just, I already pulled it off, but you could also use, in conjunction with the most recent swing, you use the swing from the beginning. So the two swings that you rely on most heavily with the GAN projection levels are most recent swing and the swing from the beginning of the move. Right here I have the most recent swing on here just to show you how that looked too. So that gave us the 0.311 level and 0.3063. Dipping down to 3063, rounding back up to the rotation zone, hitting that 0.31 run, rotation zone coming back down to the 3063 level. So that was key, and in this process, it formed a really nice double bottom on the 4 hour time frame. So let's switch back to that. 4 hour time frame, nice double bottom using the, we're doing some new testing with the slightly tweaking the probabilities of this. So I'm using the lowest of the two moves. So this would be the longer of the two, this base to this peak. The lower of the two moves, this base to this peak. We've been doing some testing, and it seems to bump up the probabilities in the cryptos just slightly. So this one's using the shorter of the two moves. So this right hand low to the peak, which gave us the 34.84 level, the 35.14, and the 35.80. You can see the first one's generally the stop reduction, and then the next two are profit taking, or you could do stop reduction again at the 75 because all three targets were in play for this one. Coming up to the final target, pulling back, dipping below the rotation zone, catching on the prior 50% gain level and prior resistance becoming support. So why sometimes you don't want to just pull these levels off instantly, and now getting a strong move up. At this point, from the beginning of the move to this high area, you can do the next projection up, which then gave the about the 0.3730, which went through. Now you can again move this back up to here, which gives us a nice cluster with a prior retracement zone of about 0.3939 and then 0.4048. But let's look to fine tune those on the daily. Moving a bit sideways, rotation zone on the 1 hour hitting. You have very key support on any pullbacks coming in about 3627 to, this is a prior breakout level, rising 21, coming in about 3562. So that's going to be very key to watch for on pullbacks before the next push higher. Let's switch over to that daily. So the rotation zone is with us now on the 4 hour. On the daily, still against us, but we're above the 21. So the rotation zone is out of the way. So this has made some really nice moves up. So that's why these targets are really looking nice. Also, we're through some of this prior support area. We could still see some resistance here from anybody who bought in here who's still looking to unwind positions because they still think it's heading lower. But these targets look pretty good. This 0.3939 area and then 0.4048. Above there, you can watch for a return to about 0.4251. That's what we have for you on NEM, and we'll talk to you everyone soon. Bye for now.